Lee Stranahan had a prior engagement tonight, so High Dive will be back next week. I am really pleased to bring Crowdsource the Truth viewers a special presentation. We are bringing back the Counter Lawfare report with a new legal expert, Harvard-trained attorney, technologist, legal expert, and my attorney in NATAS v. MSD, John Snyder. John, welcome to the show.
Hey, Jason. Thanks for having me, man.
This is exciting. It's the first time you and I are doing a show together. We're not going to be discussing the National Academy of Television, Arts and Sciences versus Multimedia System Design case tonight, but we are going to be exploring allegations of corruption within the federal courts. And I want to give people a little background about what we're going to be talking about tonight. We're just doing a little lead-in here on YouTube, John, because as you know, YouTube has become a very hostile environment for facts and truth. By no means will we be breaking the law or violating any civil torts tonight, but we're going to be discussing evidence that could trigger certain YouTube complaints that we'd like to avoid. So I'm hopeful that viewers will become sponsors and join us on subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. Viewers can also visit crowdsourcethetruth.com, and there's going to be a lot of options there to support the Counter Lawfare Fund. I think, John, when people are done seeing the evidence that we're going to present tonight, they're going to have a new understanding of this concept of lawfare. Give us a little background about you. You're quite an accomplished guy.
Well, I graduated Harvard Law School in 2002, and boy, back then it was a different world. The way people made it in the world was, you joined a big organization, or you joined the government and became a senior government lawyer, and were involved in the sort of the back and forth between big time private industry and government service. And that was sort of at Harvard Law School, in that milieu, that was sort of the way you made it. Now, unfortunately, I was not built in a way that enables me to thrive in a large bureaucracy. And, if I could do that, boy, my life would have been easier. But, and
I think it's part of the reason why you and I get along.
I'm absolutely certain that's the case, because, I see a lot of myself in you, and perhaps a lot of you in myself. So, but so anyway, I actually, I tried to do all the right things. Right out of law school, I clerked for a federal judge, Richard Caputo, who was a great district court judge out of the Middle District of Pennsylvania. I did that for a year. Then I practiced at a big law firm for 7 years, till 2010. They didn't make me partner. And I was so upset they didn't make me partner. I really thought I was a great lawyer and I deserved to make partner and all that. Only later did I realize, about 10 years later, man, I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna, about 10 years later, I went back because I was given a talk on artificial intelligence, and I'll get to how the heck I have an involvement in that. But given a talk, and I look around, and the same partners that were running the firm when I got there as a summer associate in 2001, they were still there running the firm, and they had made nobody partners that could come up and challenge them. And I thought to myself, if I were a partner here, I'd push those guys out. and then it hit me. I was like, that's why I didn't make it, because They knew in 5 years I was going to push them out. And that's the case.
Excuse me for interrupting, John. One of the things I want to explore with you is that I think a lot of lay people, people who are just watching YouTube and want to understand what's going on with the law. We're hearing, Bill Cosby's getting out of jail. Allison Mack is getting what seems like maybe not that serious of a penalty. The Trump organization is being indicted. People who aren't lawyers and aren't experienced with litigation thankfully, of their own, sometimes I think have a misconception of how the law works and what goes on, and we're going to be exploring that tonight. But before we make the transition over to the sponsor exclusive segment where we're going to dive into evidence, some of which I haven't even shared with you. We're going to be talking about something that is not directly related to NATAS v. MSD, or I don't even want to talk about necessarily the other lawsuits that have been brought against me, but we're going to explore evidence in real time. I am going to reveal something to you and the audience that I am very confident is going to blow people's minds and really give them a new understanding of what's going on. But before we make that transition, maybe you want to tell everybody about Agnes Intelligence and how your technology company is revolutionizing law and the law enforcement and legal research.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for that. So I started my own law firm in 2010. And the biggest problem that I saw was that we had, as lawyers, mountains of evidence, mountains of emails and all kinds of data. And we had no good way to search it and review it. We were using prehistoric tools. And I became aware through a series of events of this next generation incredible AI technology that existed and had not been adopted anywhere. For a whole bunch of reasons that, I could get into. But here's the point of it. Okay. We've created a search engine that is better than Google, that works on the basis of unsupervised machine learning, which, among other things, can give you search results not only that are better, but that are unbiased, right? Our algorithm, it doesn't rely on any human input. It doesn't rely on any human training. And so in essence, what we're able to do is take a huge pile of any kind of unstructured data, be it emails, be it websites, Twitter, audio, video, and we can analyze it and we can make it searchable using basically an AI generated table of contents that gets extracted from the data and provides you with the ability to know what's in a huge pile of data without actually looking at it. And so that technology, I started Agnes Intelligence 3.5 years ago with a couple of data scientists. We built a prototype. We then built out a full platform, and we're now making that platform able to be deployed on any network, which is a major technological and engineering challenge. And we are going to be, and I can say we are the world's first unsupervised AI as a service company that can deliver just like software, right? We can scale like software, and we can handle extreme amounts of data. Our technology gets better the bigger the data gets. So this is it's a technology that we are pushing into various use cases, but at the end of the day, the biggest problem that everybody has is too much data and no way to make sense of it. And we've solved that problem. And so that's kind of the focus of my life when I'm not defending you against your many lawsuits.
Exactly. And the reason why this is so important, it might not be obvious to people who are outside of the law world, but very frequently, and even here on YouTube, we hear people throwing around threats of lawsuits because they want to go to discovery. And really the fear for the average person is they don't want some adversary digging through their personal communications. It carries a lot of weight, and it can be a fearful threat to someone who doesn't know what to expect. Once you actually get into it, however, discovery is famously one of the most expensive aspects of litigation. So the technology that you and your team at Agnes Intelligence have created really could revolutionize lawsuits and potentially a critical part in this counter lawfare effort. So I'm really pleased that we got to discuss that with the audience before we begin our deep dive into this stunning evidence that I want to remind our audience, this is not proof of fraud or corruption within the federal court, but we're going to show some shocking evidence that I believe is evidence of fraud, and we're going to allow the audience to make their own decision about that. We're going to be starting in just under 5 minutes on subscribestar.com/crowdsource the truth and patreon.com/crowdsource the truth. As I said, John has not seen a lot of this. He is my attorney in NATAS v. MSD, but he is not being paid for this presentation tonight. He's decided to join me on his own accord as a lawyer and someone who is interested in facts and details in the world. So I hope everybody will join us, and we'll get John's reaction to this information in just a few minutes. We'll see you on Patreon and Subscribestar. Thanks for watching, everybody.